Hello, I'm Hal Ottaway with the Wichita Postcard Club, and it's time once again for another postcard of the week. And this week, I'm excited to tell you about and show you a postcard that I found in going through some of my collection and trying to sort things out so I can find them again. But this postcard is a real photo card showing two guys and two gals, I guess boyfriends and girlfriends, or at least they accompanied each other that day when they met the photographer. And this, like so many of these photographic postcards of people, sometimes they were taken in photographer studios. And this, I think, is what happened here. And we see that once the photo was taken and processed, then it came back to the couples, the two couples, as a postcard. It had a postcard back. That's what we call it. And so they would have probably either left there with four postcards or two postcards, maybe. It doesn't matter how many were made, but this one has survived. And it's what we call a blind stamp. And if you look in the lower right corner or in the lower right edge of this, you'll see that it says uh, Charles, Chas, Charles Meyer, Wonderland Park, Wichita, Kansas. And so this was Meyer was the studio photographer, and they must have had a location in Wonderland Park. Now, we all, or many of us, remember the wonderful research and everything that was done by Sarah Harmon. Many of us will remember the interesting research and programs that Sarah Harmon did several years ago on Wonderland Park and realized that it was probably Wichita's first amusement park on an island down in the Arkansas River. And this would have been just to the west of the old Broadview Hotel. That's today another hotel, and it escapes my memory just right now what it's called. But the building's still there and the river's still there. But during the Depression, when they had a Works Progress Administration effort to employ people, they actually took wheelbarrows and they took shovels and they scooped up all of the sand in that composed that island in the middle of the river where this park was, and they moved that hand labor. It took days to do it, I'm sure. But if you go to the Wichita Sedgwick County Historical Museum, a display, you'll see a wonderful painting. It's a huge painting, and it documents that Herculean effort that was made to not only employ all those men, but to actually move that island out of the river and making the river itself a little bit deeper, I guess. And as the park was there, a lot of the postcards that we have of that park shows a dance pavilion and it shows a roller coaster and just a number of things. But a lot of times they have a real high, maybe 36 inches, maybe 3 or 4 feet tall foundation for each one of these events. And of course, that was to protect it as much as they could from higher water. And every once in a while, it used to be almost once a year, we would have terrific floods and flood the city and the main streets downtown, and all of that would have been underwater. That would have been one of the main reasons to no longer have that as an amusement park. The park was built and started everything in about 1905, I think, and then went on for some years and then was closed. And so this postcard, I'm just delighted that it's a Wonderland Park card too. And I think that's probably where I'll file it rather than under postcard or photo studios like I have some of the others here that I've shown you. But this is just one little avenue of collecting that's different and interesting and something to look into. Go do some digging in the public library downtown with their city directory collection and find out where this Myers studio was. I have several of these cards with different names on them, like Moonlight Photo Studio or Moonlight Postcard Company here in Wichita. And I think one or two of those were located closer to the old, I'd say old, but the Union Station in downtown Wichita, where the tracks went over East Douglas. And so they would have that located there, that studio where people could drop in and get their picture taken and send it to somebody else and then go catch their train and leave town. Or maybe they all did all of that when they arrived in town and maybe sent pictures to family back home showing they had arrived safely in Wichita. It's part of the interest and it's part of the history and so forth of Wichita and of photography and all of this that took place that's a big part of postcard collecting. And so hope you've enjoyed this today and look forward to seeing you again next time, be next week, for another postcard of the week. Thanks very much. Bye bye.